Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are NC.
On Sunday, the Royals paid tribute to the Negro Leagues by wearing the uniforms of the 1924 Kansas City Monarchs. Alex Gordon celebrated with 2 3-run homers and a career-high 6 RBIs as KC won 8-6. Now they welcome Chicago to town as Jason Vargas will try and wash the Sox on a Monday night. The Royals try and make it 3 in a row. Next. Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Tonight from the K, Game 1 of a 3-game series between the Chicago White Sox and your Kansas City Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with you. Yesterday was a great memory, a beautiful afternoon. Everybody dressed to the nines, a special occasion. All they wanted was a victory, and the Royals were trailing 3-2 going into that 5th inning. And a kid from Lincoln, Nebraska, delivered a victory.
It was a fun day Sunday indeed, Fizz. With those heroics by Gordon was unbelievable. The crowd, they were so excited. It was a great day and a great moment.
And Gordon became one of only 5 Royals to get 4 hits, 3 runs, and 6 RBIs in one game. Alex joining Kevin Seitzer, George Brett, UL Washington, and Willie Wilson. And, of course, he becomes our Honda most trusted player.
Oh, he's very trustworthy. Hopefully that bat will start coming alive like it did yesterday, but the defense has always been there. That single right there up the middle, that little doinker, that helped him turn the power on. It's a beautiful thing to see that defense is always, that's his staple, make the pitchers happy. They love that. But the first bomb was a beautiful, had top spin, just enough to get over that fence. The second one had the backspin and took a drink and really turned this crowd on. He got his first curtain call in his career. Well deserved. What a day.
And now he will go up against the likes of Scott Carroll, who's coming home, and Joel Goldberg will have his story when we come back.
home run. Thanks to Scott Carroll, now I'm a billionaire.
Some YouTube video from Scott Carroll, definite personality, as he made a video way back when entitled "Scott Carroll Will Endorse Anything." Perhaps getting those broadcasting skills when he took a broadcasting class at Liberty High School. He grew up here in the Kansas City area, and now he is pitching against his childhood team. So welcome back to the K. Joel Goldberg out here. Scott Carroll is warming up. And what an incredible story. 29 years old, made his major league debut this year, in the minors for years, had hip surgery, elbow surgery, and he got his first win recently. He will have over 200 family members and friends here. Just talked to his brother, saw his niece. They said it's going to be weird coming to Kauffman Stadium rooting against the Royals, but it is their family member, Scott Carroll, on the hill with the support of Liberty and so many. Jason Vargas, he will try to lead the Royals to victory in the first of this three-game set. First pitch is coming up next.
Is brought to you by your Kansas City Chevy dealer. It's Chevy Truck Month. Visit your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Buy the Missouri Lottery. Try the Missouri Lottery's new Lucky Sevens playbook. And buy AT&T, mobilizing your world. Welcome back to the K, where the Royals are 4-2 on this homestand. Let's check out Robin Ventura's Chicago White Sox lineup. No Jose Abreu. That means no 15 home runs, 42 RBIs, and one of the real stud rookies in the American League, Eaton, Beckham, Ramirez, and then a couple of power guys who are veterans, Hud.
Yeah, and they've got some pretty good numbers off of Vargas in their career. However, a year ago today, Vargas fired a 7-inning shutout against this team back when he was a member of the Angels. And how about that? If he can do that again in 1 year later exactly, they'll be happy to go 7. He's got the skills.
Isn't that amazing? 1 year ago today, he dazzled them. And remember, he was the American League Pitcher of the month of May last year, going 5-0. And how about your Midwest Ford dealers around the horn defense?
Why not highlight Alex Gordon? Since it was Alex Gordon Day at the K yesterday, what a show he put on with his bat. But his glove, every night. You know, I asked him, you know, yesterday's play was getting down closer to the steel of that fence down there. And I said, hey, Alex, Man, that steal down there, did it make you a little nervous? He goes, I'm not afraid of steal.
Well, Tom Hallion is the crew chief. He's at second base. Home plate belongs to Chris Guccione. Sean Barber, young umpire, at first base, and Eric Cooper, a veteran, at third. Jason Vargas overall does not have good numbers against these White Sox. 1-1 record, 6.3 ERA in 35 2/3 innings. But as Rex just told you, he was sterling in his last outing 1 year ago today. This year, 7 quality starts in 9 starts. He's allowed 2 or fewer runs in 7 of his 9 games. And he gets strike 1 across to Adam Eaton. Chicago glad to welcome Eaton back after they missed him for 2 weeks because of a right hamstring problem. And he sends one sharply to GIAVOTELLA, who throws him out.
Gio, he handled that hot shot with no problem. Nice hands. Vargas, you know, he's so carefree. You know, he doesn't care who he's facing. He loves pitching at the K. It's very spacious. But when he executes his pitches where he wants them and uses that defense, he can be really tough.
It's warming up in Kansas City. 71 degrees at first pitch yesterday, 82 today. But you can tell that the wind is roaring out towards left. And a lot of right-handed power hitters in that lineup for Chicago.
That's right. And Denny Matthews, before the game in our roundtable we do on radio, he said it's important to not walk any batters. Don't put any free runners out there because of the wind and the power. As this gushing out today. But what Vargas has, and it has been good. He has not walked too many hitters this year. That's been one of the keys for him.
Matter of fact, he is 6th in the American League at walks per 9 innings, just 1.65. Aoki takes care of BECKHAM, and there are 2 down.
Yeah, that's 6th lowest among all major league lefties, so he's doing a nice job of throwing strikes. And his tempo is usually really good.
Vargas will head back to that hill to face Alexi Ramirez, who came into this game hitting number 2 in the American League and batting behind Victor Martinez of Detroit. Martinez hitting .331, Ramirez at .320. He has cooled off in the month of May after a sizzling April. Right to Moustakas, and Vargas will have a very quick and easy first inning. 6 pitches, 3 up, 3 down. He wanted to stay with the same order at the top, with Aoki leading things off and ESCOBAR hitting second, and for the second straight day, Eric Hosmer hitting third, followed by Billy Butler and Alex Gordon.
Yeah, you know, we've talked a lot about Aoki getting adjusted to this league for the first year in the American League, and also guys he hasn't seen before, but he's not alone. All 9 batters have never seen Scott Carroll before.
And he is a local kid out of Liberty, Missouri, now 29 years of age. Cincinnati's 3rd round pick in 2007 out of Missouri State. He pitched very well in his first 2 starts, very poorly in his last 2.
Well, you know his emotions are running high right now, especially that first inning.
The first pitch to Aoki in there, strike 1. Opponents batting .351 off Carroll with 3 home runs.
Yeah, you see that 92-mile-an-hour sinking fastball. That's what he likes to start guys with anyway. Slider, curve, and a split finger.
Two balls and 1 strike to Nori Aoki. We've told you before, when he gets on and scores, the Royals win. They are 15-2 when he scores, and he got a knock in the first inning and scored on Billy Butler's base hit yesterday. Matter of fact, Nori has led off the last 3 games by getting on base. Double, a walk, a single, and now he sends one back up the middle, and that's a good sign.
All right, defensively, they've had their issues, especially with Eaton, their center fielder, out the last 2 weeks. A lot of balls have been falling in the outfield. But Adam Dunn doesn't play a lot of first base. This is his 6th start.
But Jose Abreu out with that ankle injury. He's not available. Also, they have on the DL offensively Avisail Garcia because of a shoulder problem. And 3 pitchers, including their ace, Chris Sale, on the DL. Here is Escobar. He's reached base in 13 of his last 14. And Escobar took a shot at right field.
Sinker ball pitcher is perfect for hit and running. Ball's going down, hit the top half of the ball, try to find a hole, and try to get Aoki all the way to third base.
Royals playing well. They've won 4 of 6 in this homestand. Chicago has been struggling. They've lost 6 of their last 8. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Escobar just loves hitting in that second hole.
2 years ago, he had a terrific season, hitting .293 and mainly hitting second.
Yep, you know, it's an action spot. It's a prominent position in the order. Guys like when they can hit in that first inning.
Royals still without Omar Infante, their number 2 hitter, still out with that back injury.
Aoki's picked up a few bags here on this homestand. He's got 5 now. Has been caught 3 times.
A swing and a miss, and Escobar down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Typically, when you're facing a guy for the first time, you'd like to be able to see as many pitches as you possibly can before you start swinging on him, but everyone has their own style and their own method.
"11 years ago, Rex, Scott Carroll was one of the best athletes in all of Missouri. Football, basketball, and baseball. He was all-state in the baseball team at Liberty High School, and Missouri's top pitching prospect, even greater than Max Scherzer, who was across the state in St. Louis." Outside, 2-2.
Oh, that speaks volumes. However, Fizz, I was drafted ahead of Cal Ripken. So look, we can tell you who's.
I'm just chronicling his history.
Yeah, look.
And you're chronicling yours.
Yeah.
And Cal never lets you forget it either.
Oh, but I love it's fun. But you know, you just never know. I mean, but to be an athletic pitcher like that really helps you in a lot of areas. And the fact that this kid persevered, and you know, things don't always go well for guys that are stars coming out of high school. Sometimes some guys it takes a long time to get up here, but he's here.
A chopper up the middle. This could be 2, but it's bobbled and into center field. Aoki will race to third, and Eaton will have no throw. That has been a major problem for Chicago all year long. And that is their 38th error this year.
Beckham tried to get it, that short hop there. He'd come in, he just didn't come in fast enough. Sometimes when that's an in-between hop and it hits the lip, you're in trouble. That's exactly what it did. It hit the grass in the lip. And you can't control that.
Well, they're ruling it a base hit. Quite frankly, I thought it was a play that should be made by a major leaguer.
Well, obviously that official score, he saw it hit the lip, and when that ball hits the lip, there's nothing a fielder can do about it if it stays down, and it did. Take advantage of it. It wants to capitalize. Now, I saw Scott Carroll's head go down when he missed that ball, but see, this is not much you can do. That hits the grass and the dirt right there, and it's anyone's game. You want to at least try to keep it in front of you if you can.
Regardless, Royals have first and third with nobody out in the first inning. Scott Carroll, who has family and friends that number over 100, have to be disappointed with the defensive play by Beckham. And here's a guy who really wants to light things up at home. He has been tremendous on the road, 348 away from the K, but only 220 at home and 2 for 24 on this homestand. He blasts this one to right field. That will be over the head of the right fielder Sierra. Up against the wall. Aoki scores. Here comes Escobar. He will score 2-0 KC.
Wow, you just never know in baseball how the ball's going to bounce. That was a double play ball that ended up going first to third, and now Hosmer with a 2-0 swing hits a missile, a guided missile, right off the wall in right center field. And all of a sudden, Carroll pitching here at home. Look at him put his head down right there. Okay, right there, that speaks volumes there. That hurt him. The wind was like punched in the gut. He went, oh, man. And sometimes when you get emotion out of a young man like that right away, that tells the offense we got him.
And now a guy who looks like he has figured things out. Billy Butler coming alive recently. 3 hits yesterday, including his first extra base hit since May 6th at San Diego. But he and Pedro Grifol working hard, and they discovered something in his mechanics that, Rex, you explained the other day. Up the middle, base hit. Hosmer will come home and score. 3-0 Royals.
Picking a good time, giving Vargas some early inning runs. Billy Butler could see Alexi Ramirez playing him way in the hole. And that's a routine play if you're playing. Look where Alexi Ramirez is on Billy. Billy's been hitting a lot of ground balls this year, and he's been hitting them at people. Good to see him hit a ball that got through.
Rex, just lately, we're talking that Baltimore series, a lot of his hits went right up the middle, but they had him played dramatically to pull.
He's going through a little bad fortune, no question, but he's coming out of it now.
Now Alex Gordon, the star of yesterday's show, an 8-6 victory.
We're going to watch Billy here. Look at those eyes light up. Sees it, heads on it. Good head position. Right down and found that hole with the stake attached.
Gordon with a career high 6 RBIs yesterday, takes low and in. And for Alex, it was the second time a Royal this year has knocked in a half-dozen runs. Omar Infante did it back on April 27th against the same team, Baltimore. Alex swings and misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Okay, Carroll knows he's got to be able to bring those secondary pitches in now because the Royals aren't missing his 2-seam sinker.
Yeah, Steve Stone said he has a good curveball, but doesn't really have great command or confidence in his change. Down the left field line, foul. Alex checks his bat because
yeah, no, it had a little hairline, a little chip. Adam, eat up some pitches. You know, Scott Carroll, with you know, however many passes he has or friends that are at this game, which is probably a couple hundred, I would imagine. They're sitting on their hands right now and a little bit nervous, but his energy, he's probably calmed down now, but he knows he's in trouble. He's going to have to pitch early to stay in this game. Start getting some outs.
He has now given up 15 runs in his last 9+ innings. We told you first 2 starts went very well. 1-1 record, 0.68 ERA. That's when his sinker was down around the knees, and he beat Tampa Bay in his major league debut. And he beat a pretty good pitcher as well in David Price that night.
That's right. You can tell that Gordon's locked in.
This is what we were talking about, Rex. Those first 2, I mean, he had 35 of his family and friends out to dinner, and he said Adam Dunn picked up the entire check. How about that?
What a friend.
Gordon takes inside and walks.
Yep, you know you're locked in. He looked good. He's hunting a strike. And Donnie Cooper, longtime pitching coach for the White Sox, he's going to come out and try to talk him into getting it out and staying down.
And a team that has struggled with their offense the first 6-7 weeks of the season, Rex, they've got their fangs out. They want to attack. They scored 8 on Baltimore yesterday, and they have 3 runs already. And Scott Carroll still has not recorded an out. The offense, after scoring only 5 runs their previous 4 games, erupted for 8 yesterday, led by Butler and Gordon, who combined for 7 hits and 7 RBIs. And here is Salvador Perez.
The Royals fangs better come out against the Central. They got to start doing some winning there. Versus the Central, they're 5-13.
The only team they have a winning record against is Chicago at 2-1, but 0-5 against Detroit, 2-4 against Minnesota, and 1-3 against Cleveland.
So Donnie Cooper was telling him that Salvador Perez so far this year has grounded into 8 double plays. If you get your sinker working, maybe that'll help you.
Ball 1.
And what the Royals want to continue to keep doing is make him get the ball up. And don't miss it, and they haven't been.
Salvador pumps it foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
How about Hosmer? He can't buy a home run right now. That ball was laced, and he hit it right off the wall.
You know, I'm sure he's just going, hey, 2 RBIs. I got 20 now.
Yeah, no, that's just me talking.
Yep, that's you talking.
Yeah, but he's got it in him. It's going to happen.
He'll take that every day of the week.
Sure.
Square that baby up. Upstairs, 2-1. He has already thrown 25 pitches and still has not recorded an out. He's thrown 13 wide of the strike zone and only 12 strikes. Got back in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, you see what Salvi just did? He just motions through the ball up the middle. He wants that type of swing. Because when you're trying to pull a sinker baller, you're going to do what he's been doing the last 2 swings. Top it and hit it on the ground. He didn't want that here.
That's been the one pitch he has been able to command.
And Salvi's so good to the opposite field. 2 strikes, he's just trying to stay alive, takes a deep breath.
Carroll spent 7 years in the minor leagues, many of them injury-plagued seasons, now battling back and making it to the bigs. Perez takes low and in, 3 balls, 2 strikes. single by Aoki, a single by Escobar, a double by Hosmer that drove in 2, a single by Butler that scored Hosmer, now a walk to Gordon. A foul ball struck by Perez, and it's still a 3-2 count, but we're already in the Chicago bullpen. I mean, they are already involved in this game. The next pitch will be the 30th.
3 runs is the most the Royals have scored in the first inning all year.
Salvador skies it in the air, center field. Butler's tagging Eaton with the catch. Billy's going to go to third, and here's the throw. They've got a chance, and they drop the baseball. Marcus Semien had Butler out, but could not dig it out, and both runners advanced. Butler to third, Gordon to second. That's aggressive base running.
Hey, and you take chances sometimes in an inning like this. Why not? Eaton didn't get in back of the ball. Billy read him. He's backpedaling. Whenever an outfielder is backpedaling, look at him. Billy says, all right, he's still backpedaling. I can take him. He got a good jump there. Eaton's got a really nice throwing arm, but he short hopped Semien, and he just couldn't get the handle. It's a good thing. That would have been a double play. Now they have an opportunity to get a couple more with something off of Kane's bat.
Chicago bringing their infield in halfway. That's also because it's early, but also because of Butler's speed at third base.
No, it gives the infielders more range. They don't want Gordon to score. They're not worried about Butler as much as they are.
But they have come in from where they would normally play if there were 2 outs.
Sure, because that'll, they think he left early. They're appealing at second base. So the umpire, home plate umpire, just said you have to get on the rubber and come set and then go. They signal safe.
It looked like Billy left and with plenty of time to spare.
Yeah, Guccione, when Scott Carroll just turning through to second base, he says, no, you have to stay on the rubber and step off and then go to the appeal.
Now Lorenzo Cain, who's gone to right field and center field well this year for base hits. And I say that because Carroll's best pitch is that sinker, and he's been trying to locate it low and away to a lot of the Royal right-handers. Down the line, boy, came back inside, and Lorenzo whistled it foul. Ball a strike.
Kane wants to see him up, look him up in the zone, and at least get a sac fly or better. Ground balls can find a hole.
Particularly with the infield in halfway. They don't have as much time to range over. Barely missed. The count moves to 2-1. Lorenzo, with runners in scoring position this year, hitting .320. He had a 3-run home run earlier this week in a victory over Colorado. Another foul ball struck past Dale Swaim at third.
I'll say it again. The first inning is the inning you can get a pitcher, whether he's a 10-year veteran or a rookie. They're trying to figure out what pitches are working and which ones aren't. So when you're having an offensive attack like this, you really want to take advantage, because most of the time the next few innings they'll settle down and they'll start hitting their spots.
Well, Carroll has to be exhausted. He has already pitched 21 minutes, excuse me, and this will be his 35th pitch of the first. And there is a single to center field. In comes Butler. Here comes Gordon. Throw by Eaton, not in time, and Kane goes to second. 5-0 Royals.
Boy, things just aren't going good at all for the White Sox here. First baseman Adam Dunn should have caught it. This is off the end of the bat. Okay, there's no chance Alex Gordon, he's going to throw him out. Alex had a great jump, but that's a perfect swing. It was ball down. He didn't try to do too much. He didn't try to pull it, and he went with the pitch. Now, Adam Dunn had Kane going to second base right here. All he's got to do is catch it and throw him and get an out for his pitcher, but he couldn't even do that.
By the way, fans, Alex Gordon just scored the 500th run of his career. 11th Royal to do that. And here is Mike Moustakas. And quite frankly, Carroll should be in the dugout trailing 1-0.
All right, it's not his fault.
Escobar's ground ball up the middle should have resulted in a double play. And the Perez fly ball would have been the last out. Here's a ground ball to the right side, fielded by the second baseman BECKHAM. That will send Kane to third, and there's 2 out.
Wow, Alexi Ramirez was playing over the bag on their shift, and he tried to take that ball from Gordon, who was sitting right there in front of it. The White Sox are discombobulated. Watch Gordon. Gordon, a second baseman. This is right to him. And look at Alexi. He almost got in the way of him, trying to field that routine out. Gordon BECKHAM, excuse me.
Here is Johnny GIAVOTELLA, the 9th Royal to bat in the first inning. And Johnny takes strike 1. Gio has always had success. He's played games against Chicago more than any other team in the big leagues, and he's hitting .323 against the White Sox. Overall this year, he's hitting .194. Fastball up and in, 1-1. Next pitch will be the 40th of the inning, Hud.
This is the 7th time this year the Royals have batted around in the order.
Gio to the shortstop. Ramirez has it. His throw in time, but a huge inning for Kansas City. Their biggest first inning of the year. 5 runs led by Eric Hosmer's double that drove in 2.
Oh, Hall's on the loose. It's really nice to see him get that head out.
They have a 5-0 lead, and fans, it's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag KCFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Well, Jason Vargas has himself a nice 5-0 lead. He went 1-2-3 with the Sox in the first, and now will face Adam Dunn, Paul Konerko, and Diane Viciedo. These two guys back to back, HUD, have combined for almost 900 home runs.
Nope, they've had nice careers.
Dunn with 446. He's 3 shy of Vladimir Guerrero for 36, and that ball shot, and it glances off the glove of GIAVOTELLA, a single for Adam Dunn.
Got a lot of power. Took a little short hop that ate him up.
So Dunn at first, and Paul Konerko coming up. Paul now in his 17th big league season. He has said this will be his last, and batting .192 with 1 home run. We've never seen those kinds of numbers out of this great hitter.
Yeah, so you want to be a role player. He didn't necessarily want to, but they approached him in the offseason and said, hey, we're going after this big first baseman, and we're going to sign him. And we want you to be a part of the team. Are you interested in being a role player? And he said, sure. And would you help mentor him? And Paulie said, sure, I'll be happy to.
And Abreu off to a fantastic start. Unfortunately, now the largest sock needs mending, as Jose Abreu injured his ankle, out for this series and out for the next 2+ weeks. Just a bit low.
Didn't have to be too low. That's a nice spot. That's where you want to pitch a power hitter, especially a righty.
To try and get him to roll it over and maybe get 2 outs on 1 pitch.
Righties are hitting .257 with 6 homers off Vargas this year. Lefties just .211 with 1 homer. And that's a really good number for Vargas, especially average against left-handers. Last year he gave up a .327 average to left-handers. He's been doing that with keeping that ball down, and his control's been good, and he's been throwing that breaking ball to the lefties away from him.
You can see the damage that right-handers have done. 6 of the 7 home runs he's allowed. In there, strike 3 call.
I don't know, he must have been guessing, but that's a perfect pitch for him right there on the outside part of the plate. And early in this game, in his first at bat, Konerko's got to go.
And Jason coming off a game where he struck out a season high 8 Colorado Rockies, who came in with the best offense in the major leagues. Royal pitching really stifled him, and KC won both games. And that start against Colorado, Vargas worked 6 shutout innings and then gave up the 2 runs in the 7th. Here is Viciedo, dangerous right-handed batter, and he hits that sharply. Escobar can't reach it. It's into left field, a base hit.
So the mindset for Vargas after his team got him 5 in the first is not, oh, okay, this is we're going to get this one. It's the same focus as a 0-0 game. There's so much game left here. You can't even think about, oh yeah, we got him where we want him.
And that's not Vargas's game.
No,
you and I have seen him pitch through the years, and he is as smooth and comfortable. But he not only knows what he can do, Rex, but he also knows what he can't do, so doesn't work away from that.
No, this is a team that's been averaging just under 5 runs a game. So it's a long way from being over. Even without Abreu.
Chicago came in third in the American League in batting, second in runs scored. They had scored 53 more runs than the Royals coming into this game. And they had hit 27 more home runs. Here's Tyler Flowers, who has hurt the Royals in the past. Beautiful day at the K. 82 degrees at first pitch. Winds blasting out of the south-southwest. In there. 1-2 as Vargas dots that outside corner.
He'll use all 4 pitches. His changeup's been really his best pitch this year, to lefties or righties. He's really good with the location low and away on righties.
Now it's 2-2.
That's right where Salvi wanted it. Nothing wrong with that location. Fastballs in, set up changeups away.
2 on, 1 out. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Grounder. Moustakas has it. Second one, first. Safe.
It's just what he wanted. See how he set him up for that changeup there? He threw that fastball in, didn't get the call, and then they went soft away. The ball was down low. Flowers reached out, and he got the ground ball, but it was just hit too slow. And Flowers, see that changeup grip in there. Grips it on with the back 3 fingers. The ball just dies and got what he wanted. Viciedo doing a nice job of trying to break up that double play.
Now we'll see Moises Sierra. And we saw him a few weeks ago as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays, but was released after the series against the Royals, picked up immediately by the Chicago White Sox, and now because of all their injuries, he's in that starting lineup. He signed with the Sox on May 4th and is hitting over 300 with his new team. 2 balls, no strikes. 25 years of age, out of the Dominican Republic. Overall only hitting 179, but 300 with his new club. Fouled off. The Royals started the night 7 games back of Detroit in second place in the Central. Right now the Tigers are tied with Cleveland 1-1 in the 5th. There's only 5 games on the slate tonight. Two balls, 2 strikes. Sierra is a guy you can strike out in a limited number of at-bats this year. He has struck out 18 times, but Vargas will not go for that. He is a guy who pitches to contact. If they swing and miss, it's their fault.
You better believe it.
He got him to swing and miss at a ball, and that is typical Jason Vargas. Great changeup.
Stay with it. It's a tough one to hit.
retro jerseys that were worn by the Royals and Orioles yesterday as we pay tribute to the Negro Leagues. The auction will continue until the end of this week. Don't miss your chance to own these game-worn autographed jerseys by the biggest stars from both teams. All proceeds of this auction will go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Go to Royals.com/NLBM to bid and learn more. The Royals sent 9 men to the plate, scored 5 runs in the first, so Aoki will lead things off again, and he singled and scored, and that is always a good sign for the Royals. We told you when he scores, the Royals are 15-2 this year. Keep it going, Nori. Outside, 2-1.
After that 5-run outburst, that means the Royals have outscored their opponents in the first inning this year, 23-11.
3-1. Seems like Scott has picked up his tempo, but still not finding that strike zone. Nori sends it up the middle, and Ramirez will take care of him. 1 out. We told you Scott, a local guy, grew up a Royals fan, went to Liberty High School in Missouri, and there's a picture of his high school yearbook. He was the superstar in football, basketball, and baseball, and actually went to Purdue right away after becoming All-State for his high school team, where he went 10-0 with a 1.17 ERA.
That's at the K there. That picture.
And Rex, he went to Purdue, and at Purdue they said you can only play football, even though he was offered a baseball scholarship at Mizzou, but wanted to play football. He was a backup to Kyle Orton, who was a pretty good NFL player, so he transferred to Missouri State, where he was not only the top pitcher in the team, but also their star quarterback. Escobar singled his first time up, but it was one that should have been gathered in by Gordon Beckham and turned into a double play. Usually a play like that is not made turns into runs, and it did, and haunted Carroll. He strikes his first man out. It is Escobar in the second.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Hosmer with a ringing double his first time up that plated both Aoki and Escobar and gave the Royals the early lead. Jumped his average back over 290. He had it coming home at 320. And that was a very good sinking fastball in the outside corner. Drops in another at 91.
It's pretty good movement,
I'll say. And then Hosmer fouls one off of his front foot. But thus far, it's been a completely different inning for Carroll than the first.
and like I mentioned, Fizz, sometimes that's just how this game happens. You give up a lot of runs in that first inning. Pitchers seem to settle down after that, and they start hitting their spots. The adrenaline's gone. They figured out which pitches are going to work and which ones aren't going to work.
Rex, could this be an effect of a guy being so amped up going against his old club? And we've talked to sinker ball pitchers that said, I cannot throw my sinker. It won't sink if I'm tight. And he seems more relaxed now.
Yeah, but I would say no, because he wasn't overthrowing and he wasn't walking the house. His fielders let him down, and that's what caused the momentum. I don't think he did anything wrong. He went out there and he's got a quick tempo. Sinker ballers, that's good because it keeps the defense on their toes. He was let down by some shoddy fielding. Or, the ball hit the lip. having played in the infield my entire career mostly, and having a ball hit the lip like that, that'll throw you off. You'll miss a ball like that 10 out of 10 times. Maybe 8 out of 10. You might get lucky. Yeah, you might get lucky and get your glove in the right spot.
Well, you played with Ozzie Smith, and you saw him take some would-be errors and turn them into great plays.
Well, that's Ozzie Smith. Again, that's apples and bananas you're comparing to.
Let's have a fruit salad.
But there was a lot of seams in artificial turf back in the day.
Ooh.
Especially at Busch Stadium.
And here at the K.
Yes, there was,
and a walk to Hosmer. Second walk by Scott Carroll.
Yeah, like he only walked one batter in that first inning, and that was to Alex Gordon. And Alex Gordon had a nice at-bat on him. He eyeballed some pretty good curveballs, so that was not an over-anxious Scott Carroll. It was a good job of plate discipline by Gordon.
Billy with 4 hits in his last 5 at-bats. And then he smacks one to left field, make it 5 hits in his last 6 at-bats.
So that time Alexi Ramirez was played over more towards second base where he hit his last ground ball. So Billy hits it right where he was standing in the first time. The ball's elevated. That's what you want to do. See him up. And take the base hit. Doesn't look to me like Billy's using that big leg kick, which has been good. He's keeping it a little closer to the ground because that's a timing issue that has affected him in a bad way early.
Gordon walked and scored one of the 5 Royal runs in the first. Carroll already at 59 pitches for the evening and not yet through the second inning. An exhausting total for any starting pitcher. Two and 0 to Alex. With 2 out, Hosmer walked. Butler singled through the hole between the shortstop and third baseman. Now a favorable count on the Royals left fielder. 3 balls and no strikes.
So Carroll and Donnie Cooper, the pitching coach, they always go over who's hot on a team. You have to. And so they said, be careful with Gordon.
Green light here in 3-0?
Absolutely. He's 4 for 4 yesterday, so be careful. And Alex had a great walk in his first appearance here. Certainly, if it's a pitch to his liking, no one's going to say anything if he makes an out or swings the bat. He didn't. That's good. That's smart. Take the walk.
Well, Carroll looked pretty good. He had retired 4 straight and then walked Hosmer. Then Butler singled. Now he's walked Gordon. The bases are loaded, and here comes Salvador Perez, and his pitch total continues to climb. Next one will be number 63.
So the always calm Robin Ventura is sitting over there thinking, well, he's already got 62 pitches. Who am I going to go with?
He's trying to save his bullpen, doesn't want to waste him for the rest of this series. Salvador pumps one up the middle, but Ramirez has it and gets it to BECKHAM at second base. So Carroll out of trouble in the second inning, but he had to work to do it.
Lead, the Gold Glover, 3-time Gold Glover Alex Gordon back in left field, and he told me today that the big defensive play, he likes that better than maybe a big home run, and then modestly says that some of those diving catches aren't so spectacular.
Usually I make it look worse than it is, so the guys always give me a hard time. They always say it's a TGM move, so which is total Gordo move, and you know, I flop to the ground to make it look like it hurts, and kind of oversell it a little bit.
A TGM. I'm not sure that anyone is buying that. Alex Gordon has won 3 straight Gold Gloves for a reason, and he said he loves getting out there and diving around and crashing into those walls. TGM, guys.
He has a self-deprecating sense of humor.
Total Gordo move.
We want to see one tonight.
We'll see one.
You know what, they do that in soccer, particularly international soccer, where a guy goes down and basically trying to help everybody. There's a base hit to center field by Marcus Semien. Let's go back and take a look at the one from yesterday.
Okay, coming down that line, it goes downhill, and there's steel. The rail is exposed there. Okay, and your hand, maybe your chin, your elbow can get caught up in that steel. And I asked him today, I said, Alex, you know, the further you get towards the dugout, that's steel that's hanging on that thing. And he goes, I'm not afraid of steel. And I just went, oh, okay. I don't guess you are.
James Shields gave him a great ovation. It was James who sent him out for that curtain call last night.
Oh, that was special.
That was his first.
Yeah. You know, the 4 hits, anytime a hitter can be perfect at the plate, 4 or 5. That's a special evening. Doesn't happen very often. But a curtain call is even more rare. I mean, and especially here at the K. He said he was happy that he got it at home, and he didn't know what to do. The crowd just kept wanting him to come out. And, you know, sometimes if you're a young player and you don't know what to do, so you got to ask. So he asked James Shields, and Shields goes, well, stand up and tip your cap.
Which he did, and Joe Goldberg.
Yeah, he's a humble guy.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, like you said, he'd never been through it before. His 2 other multi-home run games were on the road. He did say that yesterday he felt the best game of his pro career.
Ground ball. Hosmer goes second, and they've got the lead runner as Eaton's bunt was not good enough.
Oh, that's perfect placement, though. But Hosmer, he's ahead of that. He said, man, I'll snap and throw. We'll get the forced second. Without even thinking. He wears the gold fizz.
And Joel, you did a great job setting up Alex Gordon in the post-game interview after he had a 4-for-4 day, scored 3 runs, career high 6 RBIs, 2 3-run home runs. And you really played it coy when Salvador Perez and Danny Duffy dumped water on his head.
It's not my first rodeo, Fizz.
You got that right.
But you know what? I'll fill you in on something, and at some point our cameras will show this. I mean, they see it. But what happens is I'm looking in my direction straight towards the dugout, and you have a big Salvador Perez for a good minute signaling, shh, like I'm really going to give it away. Now, who am I going to pick? Salvador Perez and let down the whole team by giving it away, or try to tell Gordon, hey, by the way, look out. So for a good minute, Salvador, he was actually waiting. He kept saying, wait, 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 wait. There it is. See, shh, I knew the cameras had it. And then just a little duck.
You did a great job. I mean, you deked it all the way into the very end, said, I got to get out of here. Time to bail.
Gordo said he had no idea whatsoever that was coming. Then he took some of the water and rubbed it on the suit. Said, here you go. We'll rub that on your nice new suit there. This suit's not new. It was just a hat. But you know what? The guys have fun with it, and it is no surprise when you see Salvador Perez coming out there. He has that big, massive grin on his face. Danny Duffy's always having fun, too. It's all part of winning.
That happened to Scott Carroll, too, after he won his first Major League game. And he had no idea it was coming. Look at this. He's just digging himself, telling him how it happened. And then Alexi Ramirez just dumped it. I mean, he didn't throw it on him. He just let him take a bath in it. Oh, how refreshing. He's waited a long time for that win.
Outpitched David Price that day. Wow. Beckham fouls it back, and Vargas runs the count full 3-2. As you said, no free passes. This is a team with terrific power. They have hit 47 home runs already this year. And Beckham has 3, and all 3 have come in the last 2 weeks.
Beckham 1 for 6 in his career. Let's see if Vargas throws that changeup.
He did, and it was knocked foul. Vargas worked a 1-2-3 first, gave up 2 hits, but no runs in the second. Now a man at first, and 1 out in the third. Walked him. Dave Island always impressed with Jason Vargas's composure. And now he has another tough situation in the third inning with 2 on and 1 out. And Alexi Ramirez, who is number 2 in the American League in batting at the plate. He set a Chicago White Sox record with 40 hits in April. But he also had protection, and that protection was Jose Abreu. Ball 1.
Let's see how many times Ramirez has grounded into a double play this year. 6.
Vargas throwing or slowing down his time in between pitches. Finds the zone, 1-1. Chicago, a much more disciplined team. I mean, last year they didn't walk very much and had all kinds of problems scoring runs, as they were second to last in the major leagues, just 598 runs, but much more patient this year. They have already 142 walks. One and 2. Last year, the White Sox lost 99 games. They went from 85 wins in 2012 to 63 last year and made all kinds of moves to build for the future. And their management team knows that this year will not be a contender. But they have early. They're only 21-23, 9 games back. A little bit low and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Last year, just before the trade deadline, they traded Jake Peavy and Jesse Crane and Matt Thornton. Alex Rios was gone in August. And Addison Reed and Hector Santiago this past December. 2-2 pitch. Ramirez hits it pretty well to left field, and Gordon's racing back. It's over his head and gone. A 3-run home run by Alexi Ramirez, and that's the 7th home run that Vargas has allowed to a right-handed batter this year.
That ball, when it got up, got into that wind, and that wind helped push that out. Yeah, he was off balance, but he's able to keep his hands back enough to where, and it was elevated. And he just caught the back underside.
So the White Sox immediately, with 1 swing of the bat, get back in this game, cutting it to 5-3. And here's Dunn. He takes strike 1. Vargas got it on his hands, and it's an 0-2 count. This is game 4 between the Royals and White Sox this year. KC won 2 of 3 earlier this season, winning 7-5 and 4-3 and losing 5-1. Breaking ball misses low and outside, 1-2. Cleveland, meantime, has scored a couple of runs to taking a 3-1 lead over Detroit. That was a game Drew Smiley was pitching for the Tigers and Kluber throwing for the Indians. A swing and a miss, and down goes Dunn. Third strikeout for Vargas tonight.
Staying with the changeup. Throw it to lefties or righties.
Konerko struck out looking his first time up, so he's in an 0-for-16 slide. And he skies one in the air on the first pitch from Vargas, and Naoki will pull it down. But Chicago with 3 runs in the third on a 3-run home run by Alexei Ramirez. The Buck O'Neill legacy seat. Amy has a special story. After surviving a brain stroke, Amy was left motionless and speechless until she was able to clearly articulate to her husband that she loved him and wanted an orange popsicle. After months of rehab, she, with the help of her husband, decided to start the National Orange Popsicle Week to help raise awareness of stroke in young people. And it's a program that's held annually during the 3rd week in May, and Amy and her husband raise funds to research to educate young people about the signs of stroke. Way to go, Amy. Here is Lorenzo Cain, knocked in a couple of runs, his first time up with a single to center field, playing Butler and Gordon. Foul. Scott Carroll back to work, the local kid out of Liberty High School and then Missouri State. I told you, won his major league debut against Tampa Bay, outpitching David Price in a 9-2 victory. Gave up 1 run in 7 1/3. Time call. Rex Scott said he had to hide his tears after winning his major league debut after a long and winding road. I told you about all the injuries that he suffered, but his mom was absolutely sobbing in the stands after the game.
Well, it's a long road, and I don't blame him. sometimes you just let it out. I mean, you got to fight back the tears, but man, you got to credit him for persevering.
He had it all work and came off to a standing ovation. There's Mom. He said she sacrificed so much for him growing up. Oh. But Carroll missed much of 2008, much of 2009, and Kane takes a called strike 3. He even got a standing ovation from Ken Hawk Harrelson. And fans, our Sprint family question of the day: who is the best slugger currently on the disabled list? Is it the White Sox Jose Abreu, or the Yankees Carlos Beltran, the Angels Josh Hamilton, or the Nationals Bryce Harper? Text Sprint at 432-432 and enter A, B, C, or D. Well, Abreu awfully important to any success for the Sox.
Yeah, but if you're talking about sluggers, and Beltran, in 17 years he's hit 363 home runs, 1,342 ribbies. That's my pick.
Yankees back in first place by just a half game. Moustakas has a 3-0 count. Mike grounded out to second base his first time up. By the way, with the Sprint family plan, everyone gets unlimited talk, text, and 1 gigabyte of data for as low as $25 a month per line while on the Sprint network. The more people added, up to 10 total, the lower your rate. Plus, while you'll save as a team, all accounts can be billed individually. Mike pops it up, shallow center field. Alexi Ramirez wants it and takes it, 2 out. Carroll was able to get the first 2 Royals out in the second inning, then walked Hosmer, gave up a single to Butler, and walked Gordon before getting Salvador Perez and a grounder. And everybody loves Gio, but even Gio knows if he's going to stay in the big leagues, he has to hit.
Infante hopefully will be ready by the weekend series coming up out in California.
The Royals will take on the Angels this weekend. Danny Duffy will start the Friday night game against C.J. Wilson. And on Saturday, Shields will go against Matt Shoemaker. Then on Sunday, Vargas against Garrett Richards, who's going tonight. And he hits Gio in the back.
Yeah, right in a small part of the back. You can't hurt Steele. Gio's put together.
2 out, 1 on for Nori Aoki, who's 1 for 2, a single his first time up. Scored on the Hosmer double. Carroll given the opportunity to start because of the injuries suffered by Chris Sale, their ace, and also number 5 starter Felipe Paulino, but also the job he did in the minor leagues. He had a great beginning to 2014 at AAA, going 3-1 with a 1.57 ERA. He's allowed 5 runs on 6 hits. And again, he throws over, thinking the Royals will be aggressive. The Royals were aggressive against the Baltimore Orioles, and they were more aggressive in the last 2 games, and both of them were victories. 1-0.
I'm surprised that more teams. There's Chris Sale.
Did you hear about his last rehab start? 11 strikeouts in 4 innings.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Little League. That's some hitters not seeing your stuff very well, and he is a great pitcher. Johnny was going, and he is out at second base. A poor throw, a great tag, and we will head to the 4th inning of play. With the Royals leading the Chicago White Sox 5-3.
Nice pick. He's out.
Entertainment when the Royals are out of town. Come to Tourism Night at the K tomorrow as the Royals team up with the Greater Kansas City Attractions Association to provide an exclusive opportunity for fans to visit over 25 interactive attraction booths in our outfield experience. For details, visit Royals.com/tourism night at the K. Rex, if there's one place in the world you have not been that you would like to go to, where is it? Since we're talking about tourism.
Well, I haven't seen a lot of Montana. I've never been to Montana. You know, I'd like to. I've never been over to Europe either, but there's still some places in America that I want to go to.
Montana is one of the most beautiful states.
Yeah.
I've been to Yellowstone and Glacier.
I haven't been up in that part of the country. There's not a lot of baseball played up there.
Diane Viciedo rips one to left, and it's a 1-run game. All the runs by Chicago supplied by power.
Second time around, they're sitting on that changeup. And that one was on the inner half.
Just about every single one of these Chicago White Sox came in with tremendous numbers against the Royals starter. Beckham was 5 for 13 with a home run. Alexi Ramirez 8 for 18 with 2 home runs, and has now 3 after he blasted a 3-run home run in the 3rd. Adam Dunn, 3 hits, 2 home runs. KONERKO, 7 for 16 with a home run. And Viciedo is now 6 for 11 with 2 home runs, and it's a 5-4 game. Jason had pitched so well in his last 2 starts against Seattle and Colorado. There's a changeup that misses badly, and the count goes to 2-2. Vargas strikes out Flowers, first out of the 4th inning. Now it's Moises Sierra who struck out swinging to end the 2nd inning with runners at 1st and 2nd.
9 of the last 13 runs Vargas has given up have come on that home run ball, so you're gonna have to try to figure out a different path. Some of these guys, a location.
He's allowed 9 home runs this year, and 8 of them to right-handed batters. Out of play, advantage Vargas at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Royals got 5 in the 1st, but Chicago with 3 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th. And the Royals will have the top of their order coming up in the bottom half of the 4th. In there, strike 3 called, 5 strikeouts for Vargas.
Ooh, good low strike.
Now Marcus Semien, a second baseman with pretty good power. He eyeballs the first pitch for strike 1. He had 19 home runs in the minor leagues last year, then called up to Chicago and hit 3 more. And he was a second baseman that they moved to third base only because of the injuries they suffered at that position. Right now, Connor Gillespie.
3 home runs this year, 2 of them have come off for lefties.
Yep. And pumps that one foul. He was a second baseman at Cal. Eric Johnson was a teammate at that California Golden Bear team, and Johnson now in the starting rotation for the Sox. And that laced foul. Ball boy almost had a play on it, but he had to play it off the wall.
He's got good hands. I've been watching him down there. He's got a little bounce to his step, and that is a difficult play.
Yeah, almost like bumper pool. Saying I got the next one.
He's ready. Blows bubbles out there, not quite as good as Alex.
Good changeup, struck out 3, but gave up a home run to Viciedo. And Chicago creeping closer on Kansas City, now trails 5-4. Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera, coming soon to College and King in Overland Park. By your Midwest Ford dealer. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com. Beautiful evening at the K. Royals 5, White Sox 4, but KC at one time had a 5-0 lead. Now they want to add to it and take some of that momentum away from the Sox. Scott Carroll, local kid, grew up a Royals fan out of Liberty, Missouri. They face Aoki, Escobar, and Hosmer. Strike one.
The Royals going to have to figure out a way to get those runs back again. Long way to go still.
That hurt. Fouled it off of his front shin.
He's got a shin protector there, and it still hurts.
So Carroll has Norrie down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Grounded right to Ramirez. 1 out. Carroll has been anything but steady. He's allowed 6 hits. He's walked 3, hit a batter, but he keeps on wiggling out of jams in the second and third inning. In the second, he got the first 2 out, then loaded the bases before getting Perez on a grounder to short. And in that last inning, got the first 2 out, then hit GIAVOTELLA before his catcher threw out. GIAVOTELLA trying to steal. Strike one. Escobar cracks it deep short. That's going to be tough. But Ramirez can't get him. Infield hit for Escobar. Second of the game. The other one did make it to the outfield, but a play that should have been made by the second baseman BECKHAM.
Anytime a hitter with speed hits the ball right there, you know you have a chance for a hit. And it bounced. Had it not bounced, they might have gotten him, but it's a nice call by Sean Barber.
And Eski's been in the top 5 in the American League all season long in infield hits. That is his 9th of the year. So Hosmer is up with a guy with good speed at first base, 11 for 12 stealing bases. Hosmer with a ringing double his first time up that drove in 2, walked his last at bat. Eski does not go, and it's strike one. Our Toyota League leaders show that Hosmer's double was his 16th, one shy of the lead, as Trevor Plouffe of Minnesota with 17. They chase Escobar back to the bag. He goes, pitch taken, throw by Flowers, not in time. Steal number 12 for Escobar.
Got a good, nice jump, good takeaway. That makes Flowers 8 for 33 and throwing runners out. He caught Gio early.
Hosmer with a base hit. Here comes Escobar. He will come around and score and make it a 6-4 Royal lead.
Make 16 games now, a multi-hit for Hosmer. He's picking that up. That's a good low strike. Pulls it right in the hole.
Three RBIs for Hosmer tonight. Now 21 for the year, one behind Alex Gordon, who took the lead with that 6 RBI game yesterday. And Fonte, who hasn't been around for a couple of weeks because of that back issue with 19. Jason knows that his command has not been as good as it's been recently and has allowed 2 home runs. Here's Billy. Strike one. Billy 2 for 2. Five hits his last 6 at bats, 4 singles and the double yesterday, as Jason in discussion with Alcides. There's another base hit, and Billy 3 hits on the night. Second straight 3-hit game.
Oh man, is that a good thing? Good sight to see. Billy's starting to heat up. Fans, vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize back from Rally House.
Rex, you were talking last at bat how he has abbreviated that leg kick.
Yeah, he found something 3 days ago in batting practice, and he was walking off the field after BP, and I saw 5 of his last swings. Now look at him. See, he's still got a pretty good leg kick, but he's not charging forward as much. And look at, he's coming down on the ball. He's coming down. He's not looping. He's not looping trying to lift it now. He's got a better path to the ball, and he's got some confidence going.
Carroll goes upstairs to Alex Gordon, ball 1. Carroll already throwing 90 pitches and nobody working in that Chicago bullpen.
And you know, you should see Billy starting to get his singles. The singles is good. He's going to get his average up, his confidence as well, and then the long ball comes.
To center field, Eaton is back. Hosmer will tag. Eaton with the catch. Eric goes as the throw comes to second base. And they have the second out of the 4th inning. So the batter will be Salvador Perez, and this is the 3rd time, Rex, he has come up with runners in scoring position. He's flied out in the 1st inning and grounded out with the bases loaded his last time up.
Just seems to me tonight he's pull happy, and against a sinker baller, that's what the sinker baller wants to do. He wants to get him to pull and hit ground balls. So he wants to try to stay inside the ball, maybe shoot it to right field. Or if it's up, you can turn on it.
That one was in. 1 ball, no strikes. But both times he was able to get Perez by working that sinker on the outside corner. And as you said, Hud, he tried to pull it. Same pitch, missed low and in, 2-0.
Yep. And believe me, Flowers, the catcher, he knows that Salvi's trying to pull that ball, so they're coming in hard with that sinker.
A chopper to Ramirez. They get the out at second base. The Royals do score a run on Hosmer's single and push the lead back to 2 at 6-4.
At the George Brett statue out here beyond the fountains, and of course George Brett is the most famous Royal. Adam Dunn, though, right now he might be kind of Hollywood for the White Sox. Dunn had a small part in the movie Dallas Buyers Club. Now here's how that happened as we take a look at some pictures. His buddy bought a production company, and Adam decided to invest in that back in July 2012. They got the script for Dallas Buyers Club, finished filming in February 2013 in New Orleans, and since it was his first involvement in the movie, his buddy said, you know, you should get a part in the movie. They offered him 3 speaking roles, and he said, I'm not doing any speaking. So the director said, can you bartend? And he said, yeah, I could do that. So he was in Dallas Buyers Club, ended up going to the Oscars, and what Adam said was he realized a couple of things. One, he is not Hollywood material, and 2, he said, his definition of perfect is perfect. Hollywood's definition and a director's definition of perfect is another take. He enjoyed it quite a bit, and he might have the bug for the production company side, but that's the future, not acting in Hollywood. And you know how, Fizz, this all started? He and his buddy were hanging out in L.A. with Charlie Sheen because, you know, that's really what people do. And they were actually talking about maybe making the movie Major League 3. A month later, his buddy buys the production company. Major League 3 did not happen for them, but Dallas Buyers Club did.
Which was an outstanding film that won so many awards. And Adam Dunn has quite a future when he says so long for baseball. He will hit 4th in this inning if Chicago gets anybody on. Adam Eaton will lead things off. He has been on once, reaching on a fielder's choice and scoring on Alexi Ramirez's home run. 6-4 KC. And there's a slash to left, base hit. Gordo has to play it on one hop, fires a strike to the cutoff man Escobar, and Eaton knows all about Gordon's right arm and stays put at first base.
I think he's schooled up enough on Alex Gordon to try to take 2 on that. It's a wise move.
Vargas has walked 1. It was Beckham in the 3rd. The next man, Ramirez, homered. So Jason wants to somehow continue on and hold this Royal lead, because they have gotten him with the power. He's allowed 6 hits, but 2 of them home runs.
I don't know if we'll see Eaton attempt a stolen base or not. He's coming off of a strain in his right hamstring. I don't know if he'll attempt it or not, but you know he's got to be 100% or close to it to be able to get back out there.
And Rexy had a left knee problem in late April where he missed about a week, and the result was he hurts his right hamstring.
Sometimes when you favor one side, the other side goes.
But he is a gamer, a tremendous baseball player. He was Arizona's 19th round pick in 2010 out of Miami of Ohio. One of those guys they said doesn't have tremendous skills, but is a baseball player where he knows how to play the game, plays as hard as he can. Tremendous confidence. Career .348 hitter in the minor leagues.
And that's a special tag whenever scouts drop that on you as a player. He's a baseball player. That speaks volumes.
David Eckstein wore that moniker for years and has a couple of world championships. One with the Angels, one with the Cardinals. Time was called right as Jason was about ready to go into his stretch. Beckham's been hot, hitting .327 with all 3 of his home runs the last couple of weeks. Shoots that one down the line. Hey, Wednesdays at the K are Student Night and Local Music Showcase presented by Inc. Magazine. Show your student ID at the box office to get an $8 ticket, and make sure to get here early for food and drink specials and live local music in the outfield experience. The next Student Night is this Wednesday against the Sox, featuring music from Not a Planet. Select tickets are available online at royals.com/studentnight. Line drive back up the middle. Eaton goes to third, on to second, and they're going to get Beckham, who did not make a wise decision trying to extend a single to a double. Thrown out by Lorenzo Cain.
Okay, Lorenzo Cain, he got to this ball quickly, and by the time he picked it up, he got his feet in great position to be able to throw him out. No chance to get Eaton going to third. Beckham made up his mind he was going. Oops.
How do you think it's because he thought the throw by Cain would go to third?
Well, sometimes when you leave home plate after you strike a ball like that, you're telling yourself, I'm getting 2 on that. And then when you hit first base at full speed, you look up and your mind has already told your body you're going, and you just keep going. Or you lock them up real quick.
Well, right now, Vargas not fooling many Chicago White Sox. They are hitting him hard. Alexi Ramirez rolls one to first. Hosmer has it. He'll get it to Vargas, but Ramirez is out. Alexi thought he was safe. A run does score to make it 6-5. Robin looking over his shoulder to see if he's going to debate the call. And I guess not. Play goes 3-1.
Let's see it again. Now, going head first. I never saw Vargas even.
I don't think Ramirez touched the bag, and neither did Jason, so he tagged him. And now Ventura's coming out.
No, he tags him. He's out.
Exactly.
Yeah, no one touched the base. I think he just wants to talk about it, not necessarily review it. And Ventura's taking a peek back. I'm sure they'll tell him neither one touched the base, but he tagged him.
Wow, they're going to check it out, but you would think
this is the angle here. Ramirez didn't touch the base, but you can see Vargas with the tag.
And Rex, I'm a little surprised that Robin would use up his appeal in this situation where he was an obvious out, because he'll lose it until the 7th inning. I mean, he'll lose his one appeal, and if they have a close play, he can't come out and debate again.
Yeah, I mean, see, nobody hit the base at all. If you're a runner, you got to find a way, whether you go head first or not, to touch that base. That costs him a hit. So that's Alexi's fault for not touching the bag.
But for Alexi Ramirez, he gets the RBI, and it's his 13th 4 RBI game in his career, and we're only in the 5th inning. The ruling is confirmed, so the White Sox will lose their challenge. And here is Dunn, who is 1 for 2. Two balls and no strikes.
Now Ventura may lose his challenge, and he did, but doesn't mean that a crew chief can't decide to replay one.
Moustakas in a conversation with third base umpire Eric Cooper. Or Tom Hallion, the crew chief. Dangerous man at the plate. He with 446 home runs. Misses inside, ball 4. So KONERKO, who is 0 for 2 in this one, striking out, looking, and flying out to right field, but always dangerous. He with 428 career home runs.
Okay, Ned's pacing around there. He's got Lewis Coleman ready to go.
It's one of those nights that Jason doesn't have it. He had a 2-game stretch where he gave up 11 runs in 12 innings and then bounced back with terrific games against Seattle and Colorado. This one's not so good.
Ned's hoping that he can get through this inning here.
He gets strike 1 across against KONERKO. 6-5. Royals leading by 1. 5 runs in the first, 1 in the fourth. Chicago scored 3 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in this fifth. Center field and deep. Kane going back at the wall. Gone. Wow. 3 home runs by right-handers in this game. And what once was a 5-run Kansas City lead is now a 1-run deficit.
Well, Ned took a chance hoping he could get through KONERKO and get that third out. And it just didn't happen. KONERKO went over the 4-10 sign here. I think this might be the first time I've seen a home run hit this year here in center field.
So Coleman will try and keep the Sox quiet as our Chevy call to the bullpen brings on the Royals right-hander. .429th home run of his outstanding career. Just a mammoth shot to center field.
Yeah, it was elevated on the outer half, but Paulie and the rest of his hitters have been feasting on that ball on the outer half all evening.
So Scott Carroll has his first lead at 7-6. We're not sure if he'll be coming out for the bottom half of the 5th inning, only because they do have a right-hander warming up, Zach Putnam, down in the Chicago bullpen. Here is Lewis Coleman. Ground ball, second base, GIAVOTELLA. And Lewis only needed 2 pitches to get Viciedo out, but the damage has been done as 3 runs come across for Chicago, and they now lead KC 7-6. Carroll's done. Here comes Putnam. Baseball is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. The selection is bigger and the prices are lower at Thoroughbred Ford. And by Steel. Find a helpful servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit SteelDealers.com. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you at the K. 7-6 White Sox, as the Sox have erased a 5-run Royal lead, as Vargas just didn't have it tonight.
Well, you know, when your team gets you 5 runs in the first inning, sometimes that's good and sometimes that can be bad. And unfortunately, it was bad for Vargas. Long way to go. Chevy will sponsor this young man right here, Zach Putnam. He's got a sinking fastball, slider, and a split finger.
26-year-old right-hander out of Rochester, Michigan.
Opponents aren't doing a whole lot off him, just 182.
Lorenzo Cain will lead things off. Lorenzo 1 for 2 tonight, and that was an RBI single. He drove in 2 runs in the first. Up the middle, cut off by Ramirez. 1 out. Hey fans, on June 10th, Royals Charities and Fox Sports Kansas City partner for the annual on-air auction, giving viewers the opportunity to bid on unique experiences and items or purchase an exclusive Royals ticket package. The auction begins during the Hy-Vee Royals live pregame and continues throughout the telecast. For more information, visit Royals.com/broadcast auction. And remember, there's a $99 ticket package, fans, that is available, and it's really a great opportunity to get some terrific seats for a fantastic price. It also benefits the Royals charities.
That's a $400 value.
Royals.com/broadcast auction begins at 6:30 on Hy-Vee Royals Live. That's June 10th. Here is Moose, and he is 0 for 2. Grounding out, popping up. Putnam has allowed just 1 run in his last 12 1/3 innings. That's a 0.73 ERA. The Sox pen has been pretty good this year. It's their starters that have crumbled, but mainly because of the loss of people like Chris Sale, who is not available for this series. Outside.
Moose is not as pronounced with his right foot. He's not open like he was early in the season. He's gradually kind of brought that foot back to almost square, where he's squared up. Continuing to work and tinker. And you know, hitters, some of the biggest adjustments hitters can make are with your feet, not with your hand position or anything like that. Where you're standing in the box, how you're standing, those things, sometimes those are the biggest adjustments a guy can make. And that's because you can control that. You can control how the pitcher is looking at you by backing up or getting up close to the dish.
There is ball 4, so a 1-out walk to Moustakas. Putnam walks his first. Carroll walked 3. And Rex, there is one of the greatest hitters of our era who used to change his batting stance every single week. You played with him, Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah, and you know, it's with your feet how you make big adjustments. But Cal Ripken would move his hands back. He would hold the bat straight up. He'd put the bat on his shoulder flat. He did a lot of adjusting with a lot of different parts, body parts.
Here is Johnny Giavotella. He takes strike 1. A little slider in the outside corner. Gio 0 for 1, hit in the back on it by a Carroll pitch in the 3rd, but then thrown out trying to steal. go to second, on to first. They will not be able to get the double play.
Looked like a foul ball.
GIAVOTELLA thought it was a foul ball, and let's see if they are calling it now a foul ball. The third base umpire was looking at first. He didn't make the call. It came finally from the home plate umpire, Chris Guccione. And now Ned Yost is coming out for a visit. I thought Guccione threw his hands in the air as if to say foul ball, and now he'll discuss it with the third base ump, Eric Cooper.
It looked foul from up here, and Ned and the guys in the dugout have a better angle on that. And I didn't see either umpire make a signal until Guccione was walking out to the mound.
Yeah, I waited for Eric to make the call, and when his hands remained down, I figured, well, it's got to be legal. Look where the ball was caught.
Yeah, he was on the dugout side of the line when he fielded it, Simeon. Rusty's saying, hey, that looked foul from here. Who's calling it? He's pointing to either one of them.
He pointed both to the third base ump and the home plate ump. But when Guccione came out towards the mound and raised both hands, Rex, I thought he was saying it was a foul ball.
I think
let's bring in Joel.
Timeout.
Hey guys, the hands in the air, I think, because I thought the same thing at first, was stopping play. Somebody had called timeout after the play. That's what they were doing there.
Foul ball.
And now they're going to get it right, so they discussed it. And I'll say this, it's good they discussed it. Ventura's going to come out now, because on the list of excluded plays to be reviewed, fair and foul and trap plays in the infield cannot be reviewed. In the outfield, yes. So this cannot be reviewed.
And Robin lost his appeal earlier when he was incorrect at first base in a play that quite obviously was rather obvious. We're going to take a look at this again.
Okay, now you can see Guccione, both umpires in your screen, and no one went fair or foul. Now Guccione, he's walking out to home plate, and he put his hands up in the air to call time.
And as Joe said, fair and foul and traps in the infield cannot be reviewed. Robin's just trying to get an understanding of what their debate was about when the four umpires got together.
The home plate umpire, he has the call up to the third base bag. The umpires that are in back of the bases, once the ball passes them, it's their call. So Guccione, and that's what Robin's saying. He's saying Guccione should have made the call right away.
So GIAVOTELLA will have another chance, and let's see if the Royals can benefit from this. So instead of 2 out, a man at first, there's a man at first and still 1 out, and the count on GIAVOTELLA 0-2. Johnny with a big home run on Sunday to lead the Royals to victory over Seattle. Meantime, relief pitcher Zach Putnam has been standing around for a long time. This time it is a fair ball, and the result is a Royal double play, so it benefited Chicago.
Rats.
Tonight, Value Monday. Tomorrow night, Tourism Night. Wednesday night, Student Night and Local Music Showcase. Boulevard Brats. Have your beer and eat it too. That's what's cooking at the K. Johnny GIAVOTELLA grounded into an inning-ending double play. He'll settle back at second base.
Wouldn't you know it, on the very next pitch, he hits it to Simeon again. This time it was fair. It's almost like he said, hey, I'll hit you a better one. Too bad for Gio.
So now Lewis Coleman needs to keep the Sox quiet. Tyler Flowers, Moises Sierra, and Marcus Simeon. And there is a shot up the middle. GIAVOTELLA backhands, quick toss, got him. Nice play. Coleman's thrown 3 pitches and gotten 2 out. Let's talk about our Sprint family question of the day. Who is the best slugger currently on the DL? And most agreed with you, Rex. It's Carlos Beltran, the great veteran for the New York Yankees, 42%.
Josh Hamilton, he has the next most experience, but those other guys are young. They're good young sluggers. But when you compare to somebody that's got 17 years in the game, that's hard.
Remember that postseason he had for the Houston Astros after he was traded from Kansas City and helped lead the Astros to the National League Championship, where they would lose to the White Sox in 4 games. Sox had that brilliant postseason, going 11-1 with a 2.55 ERA, and they finally cooled off Beltran, who's just a monster in the playoffs against everybody else. That 2005 team was the first team since the 1927 Yankees to lead wire to wire. Sierra down in the count, 0-2. Checks his swing on a slider outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And I just remember that dominant starting pitching that the Sox had with Contreras and Mark Burley and Freddie Garcia and John Garland. Hit sharply, backhanded. Escobar, long throw, offline, and it clips away. And Hosmer's got a chance at second. Quick throw, not in time. A single and an error on Escobar, who doesn't make many.
Escobar and Hosmer have great arms. And Escobar stayed on top to get some power on it. But Hosmer, off balance, picks up this ball and just throws a dart and just a little bit offline. It needed a perfect throw to get him, but that was a heck of a try.
That was only his 5th error since the All-Star break last year, Rex. Over 440 total chances, and he led the major league shortstops with a .991 fielding percentage since the All-Star break last year.
He's not going to make every one of those plays in the hole. That's the toughest play for a shortstop to make. But he's got the arm to do it.
Coleman doing his best because all 3 of the guys have hit the ball on the ground. 2 ground outs and an infield hit by Sierra. Line to center field. Kane over and makes a tremendous catch. Oh, baby, what a play.
That was clutch. Saved a run. And you don't make a play like that unless you are breaking on contact. Look at the pitchers in this end. You know, this guy's amazing. That ball is sinking fast, and Kane on the full out dive says, not on my turf.
You never know if he go back and look at this game later if that is the play that allows the Royals to hang around and then eventually win the game. There's a ball struck to the right side. Well, Kane saved a run certainly in this 6th inning. And Lewis Coleman will wait for him and give him a pat on the back for a job well done. Catches we've seen this year. And remember to keep bidding, fans, on the Monarchs and Black Sox jerseys that were worn by the Royals and Orioles yesterday when we paid tribute to the Negro Leagues. The auction will continue until the end of the week, and all proceeds of this auction go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Go to Royals.com/NLBM to check out these game-worn and autographed jerseys. By the way, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Thomas Briscoe from Lathrop, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Thomas will win $1,200. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Thomas will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. 7-6 Chicago leads, and 6 of their 7 runs came by way of the big fly. 3 home runs hit off Vargas, who no longer is in the game, and now Zach Putnam is trying to keep pace with Lewis Coleman. Aoki, Escobar, Hosmer in the 6th. The middle of the order was quite good for the Royals yesterday when hitters 4 and 5 had 7 hits and 7 RBIs from Butler and Gordon. And tonight, middle of the order 3 and 4 have been quite good with 5 hits. There's a chopper up the middle. Ramirez will handle and throw out Aoki.
A couple of guys for the White Sox, sinker ball pitchers doing their job. That's what sinker ballers do. They induce those ground balls. Putnam's got a really nice sinker.
The Chicago bullpen has been very strong, even though they lost guys like Addison Reed in a trade to Arizona last year, and still searching really for a closer. They're missing Nate Jones, who was their closer. He's gone with an injury. And yet the Sox as a team, #1 ranking in bullpens for walks, 3rd in opponents' batting average, just .226. Putnam was not a guy expected, but he's been terrific for the White Sox this year.
Injuries give opportunities to others, and if you're the other guy, you want to seize that moment because there's always somebody coming behind you.
Downs and Petrichka for the Chicago White Sox, and Kelvin Herrera for Kansas City. A strike to Escobar and a 2-1 count.
That's the one he wants there, an elevated pitch.
Escobar with a couple of home runs this year. He has a couple of infield hits tonight. So Putnam gets back in the count, and Escobar debating that one. He thought it was way inside.
Some pretty good movement on that. Fox
tracks.
It showed it out a little.
They ring up Escobar.
That one was better.
Royals without a hit since the 4th. So Hosmer steps up. He is doubled, walked, and singled, driven in 3. Strike 1. Boy, his ball is really moving well.
It is. And it's a good thing that Escobar didn't slam his bat down and get thrown out of the game. Because recently there's been a lot of ejections, and it's been on balls and strike calls and other calls that you know, managers and players aren't getting a chance to argue very much anymore with the replay. But I've noticed a lot of ejections lately around the league.
Didn't Scott Kazmir get thrown out of a game?
Yeah, off the mound. Second inning.
Where Oakland had to go 7 innings with their bullpen.
Yeah, he got him out of the second inning because he questioned a call.
Ground ball third. Semien has it. It's a quick and easy inning for the White Sox in the 6th. They take a one-run lead to the 7th at the K. Royals fans hoping their team can come back. At one time they led 5-0. Now they trail by 1. They'll bring on Kelvin Herrera, who hopes to keep the White Sox quiet in the top of the 7th.
Well, he's had a great average against the opponents there. He's been dealing 192. Upper 90s fastball, slider, and a changeup.
Kelvin pitched a scoreless 8th inning versus Baltimore yesterday, working around a leadoff single with the help of a 6-3 double play. He will face hitters 2, 3, and 4, BECKHAM, Ramirez, and Dunn.
And as good as Vargas has been, especially here at the K, that's kind of a shocker that he couldn't hold that lead.
Well, he didn't have his great command, and when he lost that, Chicago was teeing off. A 3-run home run by Ramirez, a solo shot by Viciedo, A 2-run home run by KONERKO to dead center. Good pitch by Herrera. And our Academy Sports and Outdoors takes a look at the bullpen, and they have been rock solid recently. A 1 ERA the last 2 weeks, a 189 opponent's batting average against. Herrera's been a big part of that. Lined to ALCIDES ESCOBAR. Fans, you can follow every Royals game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Royals.com today.
Because I was telling you about all the ejections that I've been witnessing lately, at least on TV and stuff. 12 ejections since May 12th. 5 managers.
And we rarely saw a manager getting tossed early because of the replay situation.
Yeah, a full month, full month of that. I think things are starting to heat up now. We're almost 50 games into the season, and some teams aren't achieving the way they should, and so the tempers are flaring. The weather's getting hot, and so are some guys.
And none of them were Lou Piniella or Earl Weaver or Billy Martin. Here's the pitch that's shot down the line, and Ramirez stays hot. He is driven in 4 tonight, and now gets an opposite field base hit with 1 out. Alexi Ramirez with our Chrysler drive of the game. Vargas left up a fastball, and he demolished it over the wall and left.
Yeah, and that was the same location that KONERKO hit his to center. Just elevation, that's all. And if you find too much of the plate and it's up, guys are going to tag it.
Ramirez might be going. He has stolen 7 bases in 8 attempts. Dunn, though, always a threat with tremendous power. He has singled, struck out, and walked tonight. Both walks preceded home runs. Isn't that amazing? That's something that Denny Matthews talked about tonight. Don't walk anybody. Each walk is right before a home run. The walk in front of Ramirez's 3-run shot, a walk by Dunn in front of KONERKO's 2-run home run. Foul back. Royals have to find some kind of power. They only have 20 home runs. That's 30 fewer than Chicago. Three balls and 1 strike. Done with an excellent eye. Always walks around 80 to 90 times a year. He'll strike out a ton. Last year struck out 189 times. The year before that struck out 222. And he walked him. Yeah, we told you what happened last time Dunn walked before KONERKO. And Salvador Perez will try and calm down Kelvin, who's suddenly gotten wild. Gave up a line out, then a line single, and now a walk.
Okay, Adam Dunn was 0 for 8 in that at bat against Herrera lifetime, and KONERKO is 0 for 7. Last time up, that one swing sent Vargas to the showers. Gave his team the lead. 412 feet. Just enough.
Herrera is more of a fly ball pitcher than a ground ball pitcher, but if he can keep it down, Paul doesn't run well anymore, and he could get out of this inning on 1 pitch. Lines out to Hosmer, and Hosmer's going to get the double play the other way. Inning over.
Man.
Herrera's lucky.
Woo, that's the other hot corner. Hosmer, quick reaction. Saved a run, maybe more. Love that defense.
For Less has crowns, Diamond Club, and the best dugout box seats to all Royals games. Guys, ticketsforless.com is your trusted source for all Royals tickets. This year, Tickets for Less is celebrating 10 years of local ownership. Check out ticketsforless.com, and you too can sit in the best seats in the house at Kauffman Stadium. Our Mazda Game Break takes a look at the Tigers. They swept the Red Sox last night at Fenway Park. First sweep at Fenway for them in decades. Then they break out the Zubas. Now, maybe they're bad luck travel Zubas. I know that the guys, they're looking pretty tough there. Well, their flight got canceled last night. They had problems today. That is Drew Smiley, a picture he tweeted out in the visiting clubhouse in Cleveland today, saying, "Where are you guys?" He's sitting there with his Gatorade and some pizza, and no one was there. They did not get to Cleveland until about 4 o'clock today. They have an 11-game road trip going, and they have just tied it in the ninth, 4-4 in Cleveland.
Joel, they've won 11 straight road games. They are on fire. Tigers have won 6 in a row. They just came off a sweep of the world champions. As Hud likes to say, in a tree.
Yeah, they're in a tree. They'll come out of it.
Here is Ronald Belisario. He takes over in the 7th, and there's Billy off the glove. Belisario chases it up his Semien. His throw got him, and Billy tumbles over first base.
Oh, that's a great effort by Billy. Belisario saved the clean single as the ball was going over his head, would have made the outfield for his 4th hit. And he really worked hard to try to get that with his feet. Just got tangled up. And he sees that play unfold, and he's doing all he can. Good thing he's all right. He's just now starting to heat up. Yep,
just a half step.
Yeah, the right foot drug across the base. Tripped him up.
Now Alex Gordon, the star last night. He has walked twice today. And he swings and fouls it off. Strike 1. Belisario, a veteran, now in his 5th big league season. He has a good sinking fastball. Usually gets a lot of ground ball outs. And they have had nothing but sinker ball artists against the Royals tonight.
That's right. He'll cut it too, as well as sink it, and he's got a slider.
He owns a 1.02 ERA in his last 13 games, has not allowed an earned run in his last 11. His first 8 were miserable, where he had an ERA that was close to 13. One ball, 2 strikes. This is game 1 of a 3-game series. Tomorrow night, Rienzo goes for Chicago, and the kid, Yordano Ventura, goes for KC. Alex to left field. Viciedo pulls it down for out number 2. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. And it comes from Lisa with all her friends dressed in blue. Hoping that the Royals can rally from behind and win this one. They had to do that yesterday, and they won. Alex Gordon with that 3-run home run that reclaimed the lead in inning number 5, and then he pretty much put the game away with another 3-run home run in the 7th. And the Royals needed that because Baltimore hit a big fly in the 9th to cut it to 2, and then Holland closed things out.
Okay, there's that hard power fastball he's got, and he's gonna sink it and cut it, and he threw 2 pitches in a row that were changeups to Alex.
Salvador to center field, but backing up is Eaton, and he'll make the catch, and the Royals 3 up 3 down in the 7th.
Going again. They had plenty of it early, losing 7-6. Panera takes us around the league. Tigers 11-game road winning streak is on the line, 4-4. Houston 3-0 leading LA early on. The Cincinnati Reds and Washington Nationals 2-2 in the 11th. Strasburg going 7 in that one. Milwaukee and Atlanta 9-3 the score. Justin Upton leading the way. Light night in baseball. We'll keep our eye on Detroit and Cleveland, see if the Tigers can keep that winning streak on the road alive.
A Wildcat enjoying her 21st birthday, I believe.
Nice.
Way to go.
Happy birthday.
Wade Davis will come out of the bullpen. Fortunately, the Royals do not have the lead. He has been rock solid this year, a 1.96 ERA. Check out the strikeouts to innings pitched. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he's got that good power fastball working. He's going mid to upper 90s. Cutter, nice overhand curveball.
He will face Viciedo, Flowers, and Sierra here in the 8th. Royals will have the bottom of the order coming up in the bottom of this inning. Viciedo blasted his 4th home run of the year in the 4th, and he takes strike 1. The beginning of the year, Avisail Garcia was their starting outfielder, but he went down with a season-ending shoulder injury, and Viciedo came in and is hitting .288 since. And he sends that one to the right side. GIAVOTELLA gets there and throws him out. Now Flowers, who is 0 for 3. He did reach on a fielder's choice in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 4th, and grounded out in the 6th. Strike 1. Well, the Sox have struck out a major league high 415 times already this year. So you'd think Davis versus Flowers, advantage Wade Davis.
You would think he might just drop that nice curveball on him here.
The average is 16.5 strikeouts per 9 innings.
If he gets you swinging up in the zone, he'll just climb the ladder. Oh,
wow. Barely missed away at 96. So Flowers evens the count after falling behind 0-2. Hit sharply to right center field. Kane will keep Flowers to 1 base. But Tyler comes back well after being down in the count. And Wade left that fastball up in the strike zone.
Tyler Flowers last year was given the job for the first couple of weeks of the season, and then he went into a funk offensively and he couldn't get hits. So this year I think he's saying, look, I have to seize my opportunity, and he's doing that. He's hitting .306 coming into this game, a couple homers. He's done a pretty good job throwing out runners this year as well.
Sierra's the batter. And Moises reached on an infield hit, was left stranded when Semien lined out on a remarkable catch by Lorenzo Cain in right center field, and Eaton popped up. Yeah, we remember Flowers winning game 1 when Sale and Shields were dealing, and he hit the home run. He hit like 3 home runs the first 2 weeks of the season, and then was empty for a while.
Yeah, then shut down. They wouldn't.
Hit only 195 for the season with 10 home runs, so he's always shown good power. One ball, one strike. Sierra has made 10 starts in right field since being added to the roster on May 4th. And he knocks it foul, so Davis has him down 1-2. Rienzo Ventura tomorrow night, and that should be a great matchup, particularly the way Giordano has been pitching. I mean, the kid with a record of 2-3 and a 2.4 ERA. The Royals haven't scored many runs for him while he's been out there. Then on Wednesday, it'll be Jose Quintana, their left-handed specialist, who's had a fine season, signed to a long-term deal before the season began, and Jeremy Guthrie. Guthrie had a good road trip and then had a rough start on Sunday. Semien tried to check his swing, but he went and strikes out. That's 35 strikeouts and not even 19 innings this year for Wade Davis. And here comes, so Sierra strikes out and Marcus Semien comes up. I beg your pardon.
All right, just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Semien picked the wrong guy to try to dump a single on, as Lorenzo Cain made a spectacular catch the last time up, saving a run. You know, just perfect timing. And you know, Lorenzo and Alex Gordon, the outfield saved 59 runs last season. That's 30 more than the second place team. And that's by those new advanced metrics, you know, the new stats that are coming out in the modern game today. That's a huge number.
Flowers will advance to second base.
And if you need the infielders, that we add the infielders and the runs they've saved, 93 total defensive runs saved by Kansas City Royals, most in Major League Baseball. 54 more runs than any other team in the AL. That's one of the reasons they attracted so much attention and got 3 Gold Gloves this year with Hosmer, Gordon, and Salvi.
Well, Cain certainly saved a run in that 6th inning with that great diving catch, because Sierra was on second base when he made the catch, and had it landed, Sierra easily would have scored to make it 8-6. The next batter popped up. Two outs for Marcus Semien. This is a guy who scouts said had the best zone judgment in all the minor leagues last year. Led the entire minor leagues with 98 walks. But he's been taking a lot of strike threes looking. He has struck out 51 times this year. Outside, 2-2. Emergency hack on a 92-mile-an-hour cutter.
Haven't seen Davis break out that curveball.
Yeah, he's mainly been going fastball cutter in the 1 inning of work that we see him in the 8th inning. There's the curveball, and it is rolled towards Moustakas, who will take it in foul territory, and they'll try it again at 2-2. Well, the Royals were able to knock around the starting pitcher Carroll for 6 runs in this game, but their starter Jason Vargas could not hold the Chicago offense down, and he gave up 7 runs. And Detroit Cleveland have now gone to the 10th inning, tied at 4. The Tigers lead the Royals by 7 games in the Central. Fouled back. Semien had a good rip at that fastball. Popped him up. Hosmer in foul territory. Can't hold on to the baseball. And another chance for Semien. Eric usually brilliant at chasing foul balls.
Yeah, you know, typically he looks down to see where he is. And I don't think he did that time. He knew he was getting close to the rail. And that's why it's important, and he knows this, that on the way to chasing a ball over there by that rail, you got to take a peek down to see where you are. He knows that.
So the Royals pick up their second error of the ball game. One by Escobar, one by Hosmer. Both guys Gold Glove candidates. Hosmer's won one, and Escobar may in this future because he's played remarkably well at shortstop this year. So now a 3-2 count to Marcus Semien. That one may have been outside, but too close to take. So he just knocks it out of play, and the count continues. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Semien's got a pesky at bat going right here. He's battling it. And whenever a hitter sees a guy miss a ball out there that he should have been out with, he says, all right, my fortune is good. I'm going to win it. So his curveball's not fooling him at all. He's just up there battling. He knows that a lousy single would likely do the job. However, Kane and Aoki are playing extremely shallow. So if he dumps anything out there, I don't know if Flowers will be able to score.
This will be the 12th pitch between Davis to Semien. He went with the fastball, and you could see that Salvador Perez knocked the glove on the ground, and I was wondering if it was to make Semien think that curveball is coming. Instead, he sent the heater. So 13 pitches in this duel.
Well, sometimes when a catcher does that, you know, the opposing catcher's at second base looking. So just in case there's any, trying to relay signs or location or anything like that, he's going to try to throw him off.
Finally, he strikes him out with an 86-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Semien is done. So are the White Sox. To the bottom of the 8th we go. The Royals need 1 to tie this game, 2 to take the lead.
Nice hold by Davis. Waiter, check please.
Baseball is brought to you by Chrysler. It's the Chrysler Memorial Day event. Get great deals on an award-winning lineup. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you at the K. Lorenzo Cain will lead things off. Mike Moustakas will follow. And then Johnny Giavotella. Alejandro De Aza came in to replace Dian Vicieto in left field. He's a former center fielder, so very capable outfield defense for Chicago with De Aza in left, Eaton in center, and Sierra in right. Ball one from Belisario.
Okay, the inning before, Belisario showed that hard fastball. He sinks it. Cutter and a changeup. Little slider. He's going to try to get ahead of guys here if he can. Get him before he gets you.
In there, 1-1. Lorenzo tonight singled in 2 runs in the first, struck out and grounded out. And now he's behind the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chicago lost to Houston yesterday 8-2. The Royals were beating the Baltimore Orioles 8-6. That's a chopper. Beckham handles on the second hop. Quick toss. Just in time.
Hey, Lorenzo, he's doing a lot better running through that base. He's not lunging. You know, he's not getting off balance, touching the bag. That's what hurt him earlier. Okay, he had a long stride there, but at least he stayed on top of the base.
The Royals scored 6 runs the first 4 innings. They do not have a base hit since the 4th. And Moustakas has grounded out, popped up, and walked. How about number 5 from Moose? Strike 1. Three defenders on the right side, 1 man on the left. That's Semien. Strike 2. Aaron Crow, the right-hander. Tim Collins, the lefty, working for KC. He strikes out on 3 pitches. With a Chicago bullpen better than advertised. I mean, as a staff, they are dead last in the American League in ERA at 4.75, but that's mainly because of a bloated ERA from their starters. The bullpen has actually done a nice job. And here's a strike.
They have tonight. They're stepping up their game. Worked hard to get that lead. Now they want to hold it.
They faced the minimum since Billy Butler got the single in the 4th inning. There was a walk by Putnam to Moustakas, but that was quickly erased in a 5-4-3 double play struck by Giavotella. So they faced 13, retired those 13. Tried to tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. Instead, it's a 2-2 count.
Have to see some base runners. Belisario's got some good stuff working. He's going hard and soft. Changing speeds.
In their strike 3 called. Inning over.
The Royals, so a little work to be done. When it is over, we'll talk about it on Boulevard Royals Live. Jeff Montgomery will be on hand to break down the early offense in this one, but a rare night where it is the offense that will need to bail out the pitching. Can that happen? We'll talk about that. Hear from Ned Yost, player reaction, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. And Fizz, looking ahead, 8 of the 9 hits tonight have come from the top 4 spots in the lineup, and it is the top of the lineup that will bat in the bottom of the 9th. But a change at catcher right now as Brett Hayes is in there. Tim Collins is pitching.
Well, I hope Salvador Perez is all right as Collins comes out of the bullpen for the 8th time this year. Has a rather high ERA, but you might remember a lot of that was before he went on the disabled list, had soreness in his elbow when he was pitching in pain. Come back and pitch pretty well since, and he'll face the top of the order, Eaton, Beckham, and Alexi Ramirez.
Can't afford to give him any more. He's got to stay tight. Collins, good fastball, but overhand curve and a straight change.
Strike 1 from Tim. Eaton has been on a couple of times, reached on a fielder's choice and scored on Ramirez's home run and singled in the 5th inning. The Royals scored 5 runs in the 1st inning, and Eaton fouls that one off behind the count 0-2. They sent 9 men to the plate. Big hits were Hosmer's double and Kane's single. Each guy drove in 2. Butler also drove in a run in that 5-run first. But the Sox rally for Ramirez's 3-run home run in the 3rd. Viciedo went deep in the 4th. And a 3-run home run in the 5th by Chicago made it 7-6. The Royals did score a run on a Hosmer single in the 4th, and he'll be hitting 3rd in the bottom of the 9th. Eaton strikes out.
And for local guy, Missouri native Scott Carroll, early in that 1st inning, his defense let him down. But then later, it's the offense that picked him up and took him off the hook. Speaking of hooks, that's a nasty one right there.
Now 2 right-handers in Beckham and Ramirez. Strike 1. Beckham started the year in the DL, got healthy, and he's a very solid defensive second baseman and a capable offensive player. He taps this one back to the mound. Collins up with it and tosses him out. Matt Lindstrom has become the closer for the Chicago White Sox. He has 6 saves this year, but a 3.32 ERA, and he's not necessarily one of those guys that gets you on strikeouts. He's more of the same kind we've seen all night long.
They've all
a sinker ball specialist.
Had some success.
Ramirez pops it up right side. Johnny GIAVOTELLA there for the catch. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Eric Hosmer with 3 RBIs already tonight. He'll be hitting 3rd.
All right, walk-off time.
The Royals can come from behind and claim a walk-off tonight at the K. KC 4-2 on this homestand. They've won their last 2, and Matt Lindstrom comes out of the bullpen, their new closer. He has 6 saves this year, but as I said, Hud, he is not necessarily a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, but he's a hard sinker guy, slider to change. Most of the 16,000 plus have stayed at the K, hoping for a walk-off.
Lindstrom has struggled at home, but been sensational away from Chicago. A 1.39 ERA. That's the lowest road ERA by major league relievers since 2011. Aoki shows bunt, pulls it back in time, takes ball 1. Simeon roaring down that third base line. Aoki has scored, and when the Royals get him on, get him around, they win. They're 15-2 this year when he scores a run, and he scored 1 in the first. Strike, 1-1.
Aoki has 4 bunt base hits this year. He's going to first base, might be the place to do it.
No, he gets a base hit to left instead. So a good start for KC in the bottom of the 9th. The threat of the bunt drew that third baseman in, and he had no chance.
Yeah, he's excellent at pulling that guy in. This is a nice base hit here. First one since the 4th inning. See if they can capitalize, get something going.
Escobar will be the batter. Simeon will be in third. But Dunn, who is not that swift, having to hold the runner at first base. And Escobar has 9 infield hits this year. Gerard Dyson will pinch run for Aoki.
Okay, there's your weapon. This is when Dyson comes into play here. When you're down a run at home, you need him. Steal a base.
And they chase him back, and a good throw by Lindstrom. Would you run him early and bunt him once he steals?
That's an option they can do. You can let him take a chance, as good as his percentage is of stealing bases. Let him try to steal second, and then maybe try to move him and get him over there with less than 2 outs.
Dyson does not go, and the bunt is down. Oh. And Lindstrom loses the ball.
Uh-oh, he hurt him.
And he hurt his left ankle. The Royals have 2 on with nobody out in the 9th inning.
Wow. The ball has taken some strange bounces here tonight,
I'll say. The Royals last year had 7 walk-off victories. They're looking for their first this year. Is this their opportunity?
Ooh, man, you know, it wasn't even when he landed. It looked like he did it when he pushed off.
Yeah.
He's obviously hurt.
And he is limping off the field right now. Now, Chicago had 2 relievers already warming up in the bullpen. Because of the injury, they'll be given as much time as they need to throw.
Looked like he might have twisted his ankle on his stride foot when he let the pitch go. So Scott Downs will get a chance to come in and get as many warm-ups as he'd like.
Downs, a left-handed specialist. He'll face Eric Hosmer when we come back. The Royals trailing by 1, but have 2 on with nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. They're bringing on the veteran Scott Downs, 38-year-old lefty from Louisville, and this is a guy who has been outstanding against left-handers in the past. He has limited lefties to a .201 average since 2007, the second best mark among left-handed relievers. This year, lefties only 4 for 28.
Okay, Hosmer's had a night, and we talked about it. They have not had a walk-off all year. They're setting one up here. Hosmer swinging a good bat, making some contact, getting the head of the bat out on that inside pitch and able to pull it has been a key for him tonight. You're not going to ask Hosmer to bunt here. Now, I'd be shocked if you did. Now, you want to let him swing away. Now, Scott Downs, the lefty, he's a veteran. He's used to pressure situations like this. He's got a 87 to 90-mile-an-hour fastball, big curve that he'll feature to Hosmer. And he's got some changeups to a righty for Billy on deck.
Great speed on. Dyson second. Escobar first. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Okay, Eric, he has a violent swing, and he really charges hard at the ball. He just wants to try to stay within himself here, find a pitch that he wants, and Grafal, his hitting coach, likes to use the term hunt a pitch. He's on the hunt.
Chicago did put a play on Ramirez, broke in from short, but Dyson read it early and no throw.
Well, they've got 2 of their best base stealers out there with nobody out. Now, they're really, the defense of the White Sox is keeping them close. They don't want a double steal here.
One and two.
See it. You got to see it first before you commit.
He has that sweeping, slurvy breaking ball that looks like it's going to be a strike and then drifts wide of the mark. And Hosmer chases the one that was wide of the mark and strikes out.
Not a good hunt. Yeah, sidearm. This is the pitch prior to set up the big curveball. That's what he likes to do, and then he finished him off with that big breaker. So now Ventura will bring in his righty, take care of Billy if he can. Billy's been hot. He would have had that 4th hit had Belisario, the pitcher, not tipped the ball.
We'll see Jake Petrichka when we come back. Used by Chicago tonight. Previous 4 have allowed no runs in 4 1/3, and Petrichka's numbers terrific with a 1.9 ERA. He has walked 12, and he's allowed 1 home run, but opponents only batting 198. And the reason Ventura went to him, he's tough on righties. Righties 8 for 48 against him, hitting 167. And Billy's had a good game.
He has had a good game, and last night's 3 hits, and tonight again. Now he's finding holes, and that's a good thing, because the confidence is coming with that, and the big one is waiting. Maybe we'll see it here. Wouldn't that be special?
The rally cap's on. Royals fans believe.
Gordon Beckham, the second baseman, he's going to give up some ground to hold Dyson close. Rusty Kuntz has his eye on Adam Dunn, the first baseman, in case he tries to creep in behind Escobar. for a possible pickoff. Ooh, man.
Time was called where the umpire came racing out from behind home plate, and Petrichka, he was already starting his delivery home and had to somehow hold up.
Okay, now his own catcher called timeout. And lots of times umpires, he'll point to whoever called timeout just so it doesn't rattle the pitcher, get him upset. Now he's got a good hard fastball, does Petrichka. He'll go mid-90s with it. Slider and a changeup. Gordon Beckham, he is standing on second base, making it really nervous about Dyson. I mean, he was like stepping right on the base. Watching him go over, it's almost like he's holding him on, leaving the whole right side open for Billy.
And Dunn does not have much range at first base. Now they've got it picked off. Wow. Ouch. Incredible.
Wrong time for that to happen. Petrichka, you got to give him credit on this. Dyson was going.
This has not been a well-played game by either side.
No.
But the Royals have really hurt themselves in the ninth inning. The first two guys get on with extreme speed. And Downs comes on to strike out Hosmer. And now with Billy Butler up, who has 6 hits in his last 2 games. And the ability to get a ball in the gap, not only tie the game, but give them the victory. Dyson gets picked off.
I'm not so sure Dyson knew that Petrichka even had a little inside move. That's where scouting comes in big time. You got to know your opponents. That time in the game was not the right time to get picked off.
Billy with a 2-0 count. Alex Gordon, who was yesterday's hero, is on deck. Billy took a mighty rip, trying to send it out. Got underneath and sent it back. It's a 2-1 count.
Petrichka going with that high fastball, living dangerously. It's a pretty good power pitch.
Ground ball second. Chicago wins 7-6 in a night that the Royals had a 5-run lead. Robin Ventura's White Sox come back to claim a victory, and Petrichka with his first save of the year.
Oh, what a frustrating loss that was.
Yeah, it was certainly not a well-played game by the White Sox or by the Royals. The Royals had so many great opportunities to win it, but could not hold on to a 5-run lead and lose and fall back to 500.